Generally speaking, Americans are a peaceful and happy people. What does it take to get them riled up enough to resist their government? Obamacare, cap and trade, the Fed cheapening everything we own? How about government agents putting their hands in our pants? Perhaps our reaction to the TSA is just a start. My guest, friend and colleague Glenn Beck, host of Beck on the Fox News Channel, is one of the most important watchers of, and some would say instigators of, popular political movements today. Glenn, welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Thank you very much.
Are you surprised that that travelers are confronted with this bizarre conundrum, a pornographic picture or a grope in public?
Here's on my program yesterday, I have a refounder that gave us information. I couldn't see the actual documents or I couldn't see the pictures because they're classified. He told me also that you wouldn't be able to show them on Fox anyway, even if they weren't classified, because those pictures of what you're seeing is not half of it. These are much more graphic than what we're showing on television. These are the PG versions compared to what a government insider has told me he has seen. Also, these machines can transmit those pictures.
Oh, well, we know that because federal marshals in Florida have been looking at them nowhere near the
They say
airport.
they don't store them and they don't transmit. They absolutely do. We've been lied to.
What do you think the story behind this is? Pornography or groping that you wouldn't let them do to your wife or your children or you?
Neither of them, Judge. Neither of them. I mean, let's go through a couple of scenarios. My wife goes through this,
right?
And they have pictures of her. Now, this is Glenn Beck's wife. You don't think somebody wouldn't mind having a picture and that wouldn't... Come on. Really?
Of course.
So, of course they would. If you have a beautiful wife... Exactly right. Then you also have the story of the groping. Now, I don't know about you, but they say, well, it's not so bad because it's, you know, it's guy on guy or woman on woman. Well, I'm sorry. You know, my 14, 16-year-old daughter is sitting in her bedroom with a female or a male, and they're just rubbing the hands over the breasts. I got a problem with it. My 5-year-old son having some 40-year-old man fondle him underneath? I don't think so. Okay, how did we get to this point in America where you have to choose between pornography or groping? Because and in some cases, Judge, it's pornography and groping. Here's where it is. This is where I used to disagree with you. I've always been cautious. I wanted the Patriot Act. I thought we should read it, but I wanted the Patriot Act with a sunset. With a sunset. That was ridiculous of me to say that we could have a sunset because they'll never keep their word in Washington. They accumulate power. So I used to disagree with these things, or agree with these things, and say, well, we need to have security. I'll trade a little bit. But that's when I trusted the government. As you know, I stopped trusting the government about 2003.
Right.
And I realized what we were heading for. This is why this technology is so dangerous. It's good if it's in the hands of people you trust. In the hands of people you don't trust, no.
It doesn't even keep us safe. You know from your interviews with the guys that used to run security at El Al.
Yeah.
The bad guys are now finding ways to put explosives inside the body.
Yes.
The groping and the porn doesn't reveal
Women
inside
are putting
the body.
They're having them in breast implants. They're putting it there. They also can insert it other places. They're ahead of us.
All right. So is the government's attitude that if the bad guys are willing to insert explosive devices in their bodies, that we have to go through body cavity searches before we get on a commercial flight?
Here's the thing, Judge. We're not using common sense. The answer is to do it like El Al. Why is this happening to us? I have 4 reasons. 1, and you tell me which one you think is reasonable. 1, this is the best way to protect us. You know that's not right, and I know that's not right.
They'll push it.
2, well, it's an okay way to protect us, but Michael Chertoff and George Soros, 11,000 shares in this company until 2 days ago, they're making money. So my friends are making money. So we're getting rich, and it's an okay thing. Right. 3, it's bottom up, top down, inside out that Van Jones talked about, and the way the Czechoslovakian revolution happened in '46. That is what's happening here. Get the people to rise up so the top can come down and squelch it.
All right, let me stop you because you haven't gotten to number 4 yet.
Yep.
I'm almost terrified to hear what number 4 may be. but do you think the government is deliberately provoking us to rise up against them so that they can squelch us?
First of all, we're doing it in front of the biggest holiday of the year, the biggest travel time of the year, and the president hasn't given a single speech on it? Not one.
Before you get to number 4, give us a little explanation about Michael Chertoff and George Soros. Michael Chertoff is the former Secretary of Homeland Security.
And under
Bush. Is he selling something to the government that Soros has financed?
No, listen. What he did is he got on, after the underwear bomber, he got on television and he started saying, we got to have these scanners. These scanners are great. Well, it wasn't until one reporter, and I believe it was Camel Brown, said, excuse me, are you making money off of this? Well, we invest, my company, we do a lot of consulting for a lot of companies. Yes, he was being paid by this company, and he goes on and says, this is the best product.
What is his financial relationship to Soros, or what was it?
None. Here's where Soros makes money. Soros had 11,000 shares in the company that makes these scanners. 11,000 shares. Coincidentally, maybe it's because somebody's keeping their eye on George Soros, coincidentally, he sells 11,000 shares 2 days ago.
All right, that would be the time that you were in the midst of your expose of his behavior.
Yeah. What a surprise.
All right.
What a surprise.
Switching gears, there is a battle going on in the Republican Party in the Congress as we speak for the soul of the Republican Party. Ron Paul is scheduled to become the chair of the Financial Subcommittee.
Best thing that could happen.
Of the House Financial Services Committee, and some Republicans may try to stop him. If they are not faithful to that, will we ever believe them again?
No. Listen. They're already pushing, and it's the old guard. They're already pushing for the chair of the Energy Commission to be what's his name, Fred Upton. Right. He's the guy who wrote the legislation that gave us fluorescent light bulbs. They're putting
that George Bush signed into law.
Exactly right. They're putting him in and saying, well, he was for TARP, and well, he was for the stimulus, and well, he wrote that legislation, but he's okay in this role. No, he's not.
What is your number 4 as the reason why we're forced to choose between porn and grope?
The number 4, and I think it's a combination of 2, 3, and 4 of why we have these scanners, is number 4 is let's get people to rise up and say, no scanners. We all know it's only a matter of time because our security stinks on ice. We're not doing the right things. No scanners. Something happens. The president then has the ability to finally give a speech on airport security and say, I was trying to protect you. And these people stood up against these scanners. And these people died because of it. These bad people, you have to stop listening. I'll protect you.
Just give me the power to do so.
Correct. I don't think anybody is designing that per se. I do think that comes into at least a casual conversation of, gee, it wouldn't be so bad, would it?
What's your favorite lesson in your bestseller, your number 1 bestseller, Broke?
My favorite lesson, well, let me tell you what the last line in the book is.
You know I love that last line because we talked about this.
The last line, our government has found out how much injustice we are willing to quietly accept, but it is yet to see what happens when we've had enough.
What will happen when we've had enough, Glenn Beck?
I am hoping that we dismiss them. I'm hoping that we say, enough with you. However, I think that they are going to keep asserting themselves, and in the end, it's going to come down to there must be a revolution of thought in this country.
You are a student of history. Look at how far we have come. Would Washington or Jefferson or even the big government Roosevelts have permitted the government agents to put their hands down their pants?
No, not on their children either. But let me flip this around. You're a student of history as well. Washington would have said, look at the progress you've made in the last 2 years. Look at the progress you've made reversing this. This is an aircraft carrier. You don't turn it on a dime. And the faster we turn it, the more chance we have of a violent revolution. And that's dangerous.
When you say progress in the last 2 years, you're talking about the election of a few weeks ago.
I'm talking about, no, Americans know American history for the first time in how many years? People are paying attention to the Constitution. Years. First time in my life, people are having conversations about the Constitution.
That stuff used to be fringe 10 years ago. Now everybody talks about it.
Exactly right.
In large measure, because of Beck.
And you.
Pleasure,
and
Glenn.
many others.
Thanks for joining us on Freedom Watch.
Thank you.